Hey, welcome back to the show. We turn our attention now to some government news. And no, not government that actually matters, but instead, AUSG. Similar to the Eagle, our campus government organization is notorious for making some very questionable calls and blowing things way out of proportion. Like last semester when they suspended the judicial board and democracy died with a thunderous applause.
If it deals with your branch, you can make an exception. The state of exception that they have outlined doesn't deal at all with their branch. It deals with mine.
By abusing his authority in this instance and claiming that there were many campaigns that reached out to him about the election commissioner's performance, and he then decided to exercise his authority to oversee the election.
In a vote of 1 to 7 to 15, the motion is, or the vote is, the state of exception is upheld.
You see, but now it deals with the termination of Will Mascaro, not to be confused with famous cosmetic model Will Mascara, seen here sporting a Fenty Beauty. Insert proper items for joke here to make sense. Mascaro is the director of the Center for Advocacy and Student Equity, or CASE. Well, at least he was until Tuesday, October 31st, when AUSG President Taylor Dumpson formally removed him from his position. According to a statement made by AUSG, Mascaro, quote, was removed from his position as CASE director because students are on the hook for $3,800 worth of cards in a purchase that was not authorized by University Center and Student Activities, the university department that oversees all student organizations and AUSG's finances, end quote. Now this is a pretty serious charge, but it's important to note that the original take was that Mascaro misused funds. The distinction in language is significant considering that, according to an article published in the AU Blackprint, Mascaro said, quote, he never received a dime from student activities for this project. There was never an unauthorized purchase because he never had any of the funds in the first place. So just to make clear, he can't misuse funds that he doesn't have. Now the funds in question were to be spent on students' rights cards. These are placards designed to outline fundamental rights that each student has, like the right to file a Title IX complaint or to see an academic advisor. And a request for them was submitted on August 5th and subsequently approved by AUSG Comptroller Christine Makovic. However, and here's the kicker, although the cards were printed and delivered, it was still pending approval by the University Center and Student Activities, or UCSA. No, not that one. No, who the heck is that even?
That's UCSA.
What? How do you even? What? Whatever. Anyways, where were we? So yeah, UCSA didn't give final authorization for a purchase, even though a purchase wasn't made. But because the manufacturer had a working relationship with the school and preemptively printed the cards and delivered an invoice to the school, money will have to be spent to cover this charge. Now, AUSG says this is a problem, which is strange because the AUSG Executive Board is fully in support of the concept of the student rights cards as conceived by Will and his team. At no point was the concept of the project dismissed by the Executive Board. And that they will continue to work with CASE and other student representatives to make these cards a reality. So chronologically, this means that first, at some point, I believe during the Torriente administration, CASE director Mascaro came up with the idea for these placards. Then the idea itself was approved by AUSG. After the idea was approved, Mascaro submitted a funding request to the comptroller on August 5th. That was then approved and forwarded to the UCSA. While awaiting confirmation of funding, Mascaro let the manufacturer know that the paperwork on his end had been submitted. Now, it's not clear whether there was any correspondence instructing the manufacturer to start production of the cards, but the manufacturer, who again has a working relationship with the university, produced them anyways, again, before the funding was finalized. Mascaro was suspended by the UCSA, then fired by President Dumpson, the doublest of whammies. And the AUSG is going to be using the cards anyways, and seemingly was always going to. Now, probably 25% of the university's population is aware of all of this, with only 15% caring enough to be outraged. Hashtag classic AU. But what I personally find ridiculous, aside from it being blown way out of proportion, is that termination seems to be the only means by which AUSG thinks accountability occurs. Last semester, it was terminating the rule of law. This semester, it seems terminating directors' terms is the way to go. At this rate, they can just start their own Terminator franchise. Of course, this semester's release will be their hit sequel, Terminator, the Director's Cut. Both the executive board and Mascaro seem to agree that there was no malicious intent, and it appears that it was the result of miscommunication or a misunderstanding on the manufacturer's part. Taking into account the fact that this project would have been pursued regardless, the dilemma could have easily been resolved without the need to fire Mascaro. The exec board could have just opted for a suspension or some sort of other penalty, but they fired him, as if he were using the student activity fee funds on a private jet or something. Mr. Pence. Price. Mr. Price. Now, it's the task of the undergraduate senate to confirm or overturn the decision made by the executive board. And if you're invested in this matter, which technically all of us are, you can reach out to your senators, not the state ones, and let them know how you think they should vote so as to represent your interests. If the Senate confirms the executive action, then, well, you're fresh out of luck. But if they decide to overturn it, the executive board could still probably initiate a process with the judicial board to try to impose some sort of penalty on Mascaro. Either way, it's just your run-of-the-mill AUSG stuff. And we'll be right back.